Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's story it's tense, it's chilling and it's about to explode in ways no one saw coming. Bill, a man who has built his entire empire on instinct and control, finds himself shaken by something he can't quite explain. Lynette, on the surface, she appears flawless, calm, and perfectly put together, but beneath that polished exterior, Bill senses something deeply unsettling. His instincts, the same instincts that made him powerful, are screaming that Lynette is hiding something dangerous. Unable to ignore it any longer, he calls in Tomas, someone he trusts, to uncover the truth no matter how buried it is. As Thomas begins digging, Lynette feels the walls closing in. She knows someone is getting closer to secrets she has spent years protecting. And just as the tension reaches a breaking point, Lynette walks straight into Bill's office, and the confrontation begins. The scene opens with Bill standing silently by the massive window in his office looking out over the city, but let's be real, he's not seeing any of it. The skyline, the sunlight, the entire world outside, it's just background noise because inside his head it's chaos. His thoughts are circling one name over and over again, Lynette, and you can feel it, that unease, that gut instinct that refuses to go away. Bill isn't the kind of man who gets paranoid easily. No, this is a man who built everything from the ground up, trusting his judgment, reading people better than they read themselves. So when something feels up to him, it's not just a random suspicion, it's a warning. And Lynette, she's setting off every alarm. Think about how she entered their lives, smooth, effortless, almost too perfect. You know, the kind of person who seems like they have everything together, no cracks, no flaws, no hesitation at first. That's impressive. But the longer you look, the more unsettling it becomes, because nobody's that perfect, nobody. When Thomas walks into the room, you can immediately sense the shift. He already knows this isn't going to be a casual conversation. Bill doesn't call him in unless something serious is going on, and the moment Bill says Lynette's name, everything tightens. That pause from Thomas, that slight narrowing of his eyes, that's not nothing. That's recognition, that's him realizing this situation is bigger than it sounds. And when Bill says everything, you feel the weight of that word. He doesn't just want a quick background check. He wants her entire life pulled apart piece by piece, every secret, every connection, every lie. Because deep down, Bill isn't just suspicious, he's convinced. And the way he says she's dangerous does the moment things escalate. This isn't about curiosity anymore. This is about protection. About fear, about the possibility that someone has gotten close to his family under false pretenses. Imagine being Thomas in that moment. You know that what Bill is capable of. You know how far he will go if he believes someone is a threat. So when he asks what changed, it's not just a question, it's a test. He's trying to understand how urgent this really is. And Bill's answer, it's all instinct, all observation, small inconsistencies, stories that don't quite line up, reactions that feel rehearsed, focused, forced, like Lynette is constantly adjusting, constantly managing the narrative. That's what makes this so unsettling. It's not one big obvious lie, it's 1,000 tiny details that don't fit together. Meanwhile, across town, Lynette is sitting alone in her apartment, and this scene, it hits differently because now we are inside her world. The silence around her isn't peaceful, it's suffocating. Every tick of the clock feels louder, heavier, and that feeling she has, that creeping sense that someone is watching, digging, getting closer, that's not new to her. Think about that for a second. This isn't the first time she's felt like this. This is something she's lived with for years, always careful, always one step ahead, always looking over her shoulder. That tells you everything you need to know. This isn't a normal life. This isn't someone with nothing to hide. And when she thinks about Bill starting to ask questions, you can feel the panic rising beneath her calm exterior. She's worked too hard to build his identity, this version of herself, and now it's a risk of collapsing because the past doesn't stay buried forever. Then we cut back to Thomas, already deep into his investigation, screens glowing, files open, information pouring in. And at first glance, everything looks clean, too clean. And that's the problem, because in the real world, nobody's history is perfect. There are always loose ends, inconsistencies, traces of something messy, but Lynette's records, they're flawless. polished, manufactured, and Thomas knows it. So when he finds that gap, that tiny, almost invisible gap, it's like striking gold. A missing piece of time where Lynette essentially didn't exist. That's not normal, that's not an accident, that's intentional. And you can imagine Thomas leaning forward, his curiosity turning into determination, because now it's not just a job, it's a puzzle, a mystery. Who is Lynette really? Back at Bill's office, the tension is almost unbearable. He's waiting, replaying every interaction, every word, every look. It's like his mind is trying to solve the puzzle before Thomas even comes back with answers. And then the knock on the door. And it's her. Out of all the people at all the moments, Lynette walks in right then. And you can feel how calculated that might be. Or maybe it's coincidence, but either way, it's intense. She's calm, composed, almost unreadable, but her eyes, they're sharp, observing everything, taking everything in. And Bill, he's trying to act normal. But you know inside he's on edge. Every word he says is measured, every expression controlled. When she says he seems distracted, it's almost like she's testing him, probing, seeing how much he will reveal. And that silence between them, it's not empty, it's loaded. It's a battle without words. Then comes the moment Bill stops her as she's about to leave. If there is anything you want to tell me, that line, it changes everything, because now the cards are on their table, not fully revealed, but close enough that both of them know what's happening. And Lynette's reaction, that flicker in her eyes, that's the crack, the tiny glimpse behind the mask. And it's terrifying. This entire situation is like a ticking time bomb. On one side, you have Bill, a man driven by instinct, by control, by the need to protect what's his. On the other side, you have Lynette, a woman who has built her entire life on secrets, on reinvention, on staying ahead of the truth. And right in the middle, Thomas uncovering pieces that could destroy everything. The consequences here are massive. If Bill is right, then Lynette isn't just hiding something. She could be a direct threat, and Bill is not the kind of person who waits around once he believes that. But if he's wrong, if this is all a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation of small inconsistencies, then he's about to destroy someone who may not deserve it. And Lynette, her situation is just as dangerous, because if her past comes out, it's not just about losing her current life. It could mean exposure, consequences, maybe even danger she has been running from all along. And that's what makes this so gripping. Both sides have everything to lose. Honestly, I can't believe how intense this situation is getting. The tension between Bill and Lynette is on another level, and you can feel that something huge is about to happen. Personally, I think Bill's instincts are usually right, but at the same time, there is always that tiny chance that he's misjudging her. And that could make everything even more tragic. And Lynette, she's such a fascinating character, because you don't fully know if you should trust her or fear her. That's what makes this story so addictive. So now, the question is, what is Lynette really hiding? And how far will Bill go once the truth starts to surface? Do you think Thomas will uncover something shocking, or will Lynette manage to stay one step ahead? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more intense stories like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.